All right, so to preface, this is the Brandon's tier list he made yesterday, from what I understand. So he made it on March 29th. Today is March 30th. I'm going to base this on the patch that is coming out in 3 days. So it's a little bit of where I think everything's going to go in terms of the changes. And in terms of where it's at right now, based on casual, ranked, and competitive, a mix of everything. Like, everything is going to be applied to this. So to start off with, Arthur I'm fine with. I had him ranked a lot lower. I still think he can be counterplayed, but because you have to put so much into it, you have to pick fucking cripples, you have to pick lockdown, you have to pick anti-heal, you have to build anti-heal. We found out yesterday that he's sick, or 2 days ago, right? 2 days ago that he's fucking broken. So we'll leave him in SS, that's fine. Alquag makes no sense being an S+. As you see, the meta in competitive and even in fucking ranked and casuals right now, everyone likes to invade. If you're an Alquag from behind, you're pretty much completely worthless. If you're ahead, you're able to fight and you're able to be aggressive. If you're on par, you're just looking to farm. In this meta, playing a farm meta is fine, but it's not top tier. So Alquag, we're going to drop down to A+. More so in ranked than anything, you will succeed more with him. Baca is definitely the best support in the game next to old Fenrir and old Naja. Now, they're both being changed, so I don't think you'll see either of them that much in support anymore. You'll see Guardians again. Maybe you'll see other warriors. Pretty straightforward. That's fine. Kali being S+ makes no sense. Adapting has been playing... We saw Adapting play 6 games, right? In his games, he played for the late game carry, for the engage after the fact, and it is a good play style, but it requires you to get to the late game, and it is not something you should be doing in your casuals and ranked games, because that's not, you're going to be brawling out a lot. Even in the competitive games, all the other teams were fighting a shit ton, and to be honest, Adapting teams should have lost at least 2 of those games just because they were so far ahead. They kind of got lucky the other team through, and they also did team fight pretty flawlessly. But putting Kali in S+ makes no sense. There's no logical reason for Kali to be placed that high, and Kali's moving all the way down to A for me. The burst build's dope. The no boots build works if you're just looking to farm and play for the late game, but once again, just playing for the late game right now makes no sense. Merlin, super broken, but is getting nerfed a little bit in the patch. I don't want to move him because I don't know how much he's going to change. I think he'll still be pretty top tier. He does require a lot of farms, so maybe he falls down a little bit. Vamana being S+ makes no sense because Vamana's decent, but definitely not a pick, not something you're banning a lot of, not something you top pick because you just build anti-heal. There are matchups that he gets fucking slaughtered in. There's no reason for this either. This really doesn't. There's no. I'm trying to like think of a way to argue for Vamana. Like, yeah, he's got pressure, but there are gods that can out pressure him. There are gods that can out lane him. So assuming he's S+, that means he's top pick, and you're not just gonna top pick Vamana all the time. There's no fucking way. I like the Achilles placement. I think Achilles is going to be insanely good, either jungle or solo, whatever the fuck you want to do. I think as a solo laner, he's probably top tier. Like I said, good matchups into Vamana. He's solid matchup. If you build Ankh into Vamana and you're Achilles, it's free kills, free executes all day. Like, getting a Vamana to 30% is not hard at all, especially with people building these fucking greedy ass no defense builds. Baca being an S tier is kind of questionable because it's another thing where you're playing for the farm, you're playing for the engage after the fact. I know he's a really high win rate in casuals and ranked, so putting him in S isn't really the worst thing in the world. I'm more borderline like A+, so for me, definitely going to be A+. I just don't like just picking Baca to have Baca. It doesn't always work out. You're invade meta, if people get the pressure on you and you can't fucking go into their jungle, you are super duper fucked because the god requires you to counterplay. You have to counter farm, and if that's not possible because you get invaded, you're donezo. Dodgy, I like Dodgy, but I don't think she's S. I think I placed her really high in the last tier list. I don't know if I placed her in S. I think I put her in A+, which is where I'm going to drop her again. Cool ult, but not high pressure. Still also a god that requires farm without having the pressure, so it's a risky pick. Many other jungle picks for you to play. Cern being an S+, also kind of weird. Solid pick, but not something that you are top picking every game. There are a lot of good hunters right now, and Cern is one of them, but not standing out above some of the other hunters we'll talk about. Janus being an S tier is also fucking wonky because nobody's playing Janus at all. The game isn't played around crazy rotations. It's played completely around these invades on buffs, and usually those buffs are invaded through the mid lane, meaning you push the mid lane and you go to a buff, so you're already pushing in a Janus. I don't think Janus is bad in any way, but I don't see how Janus is a mage that stands out above any other mid mages. There's no fucking way. Absolutely no way. Pele, not really S tier. Really good in casuals and ranked. A super pub stomp god still. Does have the pressure we were talking about, but overall there's just no real, like, the damage is decent, but once again a snowball god. So you're not really in between the high farm and gank. You're like on the bottom end of needing all that farm and being pressured out, or you need to be pressuring them out. So for me, A+. Pele's playstyle too, if you're behind, once again, you're a jungler in this meta right now. The whole meta is to fuck with the jungler in the early game. And if you're a jungler that's behind as a snowball jungler, you're fucked. Or if you don't have high clear, you're kind of fucked. Pele would get fucked if that ever happens to you. And then Ravana being in S tier also is just out of left field for me, because Ravana still has good matchups, those horrible matchups. Ravana has no early clear, but does have the ability to pressure and fight. So if you get to a point where you're on par or ahead, then you're good. But once again, you're starting off behind all the time, and Ravana is not going to be the go-to for that. I'm fine with moving Ravana A+, which is really not that far down, but just heavy prioritizing Ravana right now is super fucking awkward. Like, it's really, really fucking awkward. So mid laners, A+ for Agni. I think Agni is one of the best mages in the game right now, period. Does well into almost every mage that's played. There's nothing more to say. Like, Agni can poke out from range. Once Agni's 5, Agni's just a solid mage all the time. Apollo being an A+ makes no sense to me. I'm putting Apollo down in B+. I'd like to see some players like pull it out a lot more in competitive and maybe prove that I'm wrong, but I don't see what Apollo brings to the table whatsoever. Maybe with the new items and going like an attack speed build, you'll see him flourish. Like, say he gets Itch of All, he gets new Aussie, he has the Silver Branch. Maybe then that's something that I can't foresee because I don't know the fucking 100 builds that are going to come out. So we'll see where that goes. Artemis, I don't know why Artemis is up here. The lane pressure isn't good. The team fight's okay. Once again, if you're ahead, if you're in that solo, if you're solo farming the lane, maybe, but if you're getting ganked, which is happening a lot after level 3, 4, 5, kind of questionable. Super questionable. You think Bear was saying he liked Apollo this split? I mean, this isn't really shots at Bear. While it is, they're 0-6. So I don't know that that's the best place to go to for information. Like I said, I want to see more people play it. Like, some of the top teams start pulling it out. Show me a new build. Maybe that's what we'll see. With the solo lane farming, like the ADC being alone in the lane, maybe then it's okay because he can rotate the team fights. But I'd rather just have some stuff that's really good late game. Like, just really fucking solid late game. Like Rama, Jingwei with crit, kind of fucking frags. RDO being an A+ is fine. It's a high pressure god. Gonna do way better in casuals and ranked than just top picking it all the time in competitive. Baca we moved, Cern we moved, Dodge we moved, Erlang Shen. I'm in a weird place with Erlang Shen. I don't think he's that good. I really don't. I think the mages and a lot of shit just shred the fuck out of him because he doesn't have a CC immune ult. So he's really relying on his actives to be up or having super crazy pressure out of the jungle. That's not always happening right now. Freya, after the nerfs, I think she'll get through a lot more, so I'm fine with her being A+. Honestly, in the other patch, I would have put her, she picked and ban all the time, I'd have put her at S+. Gab being an A+ is fine as a support or as a solo. Hebo, I'm okay with this. Hera, I think Hera is really strong. I want to move Hera up to S tier. I think Hera, if you're landing your abilities and you're playing safe and you're positioning correctly like you would as a mid-mage, I think she's pretty much unstoppable in team fights. I think she's got the most annoying mage team fight ult that doesn't require you to do anything special to land. It's just basic shit. And you can blow somebody up off the CC. If you say, hey, team, I'm going to ult this guy when he walks in, boom, he's fucking dead. Hercules being an A+ for no reason is out of left field, so we're throwing him an A. Straightforward, it's fucking Hercules. He doesn't, what does he do? That's special. Doesn't give pressure in lane, doesn't have a crazy team fight. Anti-heal completely fucks him. Why? Why? I don't know. Jingwei, I'm okay with this. Safe pick. Solid pick. Kumba, weird being an A+. I'm going to throw him an A because I think he's average. He's really not played a lot. Mercury as a jungler, I am going to keep higher than A+. Mercury is really strong right now. As weird as it sounds, you give up your farm if you're getting invaded early. You farm elsewhere. You play the farm game. He's extremely safe because he's got high mobility. And you focus all of your pressure into the side lanes. All of your ults go up into solo lane or go up into the duo lane. You just gank on fucking cooldown on your ult. It's not biased with Merc. Mercury is a very, very strong god right now. You look at getting fucking stone cutting, boots, you can go Teleria boots, you get your rage online, you build a little bit of defense, and he's really strong. And I think with the new Aussie, you're gonna see him even better. Like, it's a farming god, and you're adding in a lifesteal item that he'll excel with and is based around having more farm. So he's gonna be strong. All your junglers right now that are high mobility and able to clear camps quickly are a lot stronger because, like I said, adapting and then play the farm meta, that's what Mercury can do. And also your lane ganking is there even without a ton of levels. You don't need fucking to be level 14 when everyone else is level 12 to be snowballing. That's not necessarily a Merc. You're playing to get your team ahead off of ult and farm whenever you're not doing that. Golden Blade's also really good. Yeah, you can go Golden Blade. You can go no boots if you want. You can go Golden Blade, Stone Cutting, Hasten, into crit, into defense. Works fine. Whatever you want to do. There's a lot of build options right now, and as long as you're farming, that's gonna work. Nemesis, I'm good with A+. I think Nemesis is super underrated. Raijin, I think Raijin is also one of the top mages. I think he's like just below fucking Hera, Agni. Like, right there, I think with the right comps, if you're playing for pressure or you need certain things out of mid, then Raijin might excel more than those two. But these are two picks you could just grab almost all the time and not get countered too hard. While Agni does have a good matchup in the Hera, you just have to play back farther on Hera against the Agni matchup. Kind of just a trade-off of positioning versus how you're going to play the team fights. Rama, I'm okay with A+, safe god. Rat, I think Rat is the best jungler in the game right now. Also, people seem to be able to flex him into solo if they really want to. So if it somehow comes up where you just don't want to play Rat anymore, it's fine. But you can top pick Rat. Like, as a jungler, you can 1, 2, 3 pick Rat if you want to, and you're fine. Susano, I think he's okay. I just think he's average. They're not a crazy clearing god, decent team fight, can be countered because his engage isn't necessarily better than a lot of the other engages. Whereas like Rat, you can team fight all, you can dive the back, you can set up the front, you can peel, you can slow, you do everything with fucking Rat. Solid fucking god. Morgan, I think Morgan is way better than was given credit in this previous tier list. Morgan has already been played in mid like a million times. You can flex Morgan into the solo lane. I think somebody said someone was flexing Morgan in support, which I don't recommend, but once again, shit happens. High pressure, super high pressure, the ability to swap into anybody and the ability to flank and one-shot people without your ultimate. Really, really fucking good god for you to pick up as a mid laner and learn how to play, because this is the kind of thing that you can solo carry on in your casuals and your rank games. Vamana we move. Vulcan I'm fine with. High clear. Easy to be dove, so you need to position better. Shibalanke, like this. How the fuck do you end up getting Shibalanke? Literally has the best team fight ult in the game in a farm-based duo lane in A fucking plus. We're putting him in S plus. He's up here because while he might not be banned, he's getting top picked if he's open in a game. 1, 2, 3 picked every fucking game that you can get Shibalaki. It doesn't matter what the fuck you're doing. Ear rape? No. You liked it. Now for our last 3, we're going to cover all these at the same time. No pressure. Decent, but no pressure. Really kind of awkward because I don't even know where you would put him right now. Not in the support role. Maybe in the solo lane, but if you're in the solo lane, that means you're probably never getting the Totem of Coup, which is horrible for your team. Zeus. Easy to fucking kill. Like I said, early clear isn't there. He's a better late game god now. But in the mid lane, you need to have that pressure most of the time, especially if you're not safe. You either have pressure or you need to be able to be safe and just control yourself. And Zeus just has it. These two don't have, like, there's no fucking reason for them to be up here. Shintan, I'm dropping down to B+. Zeus, I'm dropping down to B+. Like I said, those are what the fuck. Zhang, I'm kind of okay with once you get into the mid game, but his early pressure isn't there. In a lot of picks, though, he is super strong, so I'm just going to move him down 1 to A. And here's our A+ for now. AMC, I think, is really good in mid or ADC. Plash, I think, is really, really good in the mid lane still and just super underplayed. I think in stream, like 2 nights ago, I had mentioned that I don't know why he was dropped off and not played as much. I guess because people thought the Thoth nerf, the Book of Thoth, was too much. But He was played this weekend and does really well into a lot of matchups. They were picking him into Dodgy as a hard counter to the ultimate, which is pretty fucking cool to see, especially since the other team had 2 Dodgy ults going off with Morgan. So Opwash, I think, needs to be rated higher. Honor is fine in A. Ares is fine in A. Athena's fine in A. Mainly these gods are just still doing the same thing but can be counterplayed. Baron, I think, is a lot weaker than this. I'm putting Baron in B+. Just super risky to play him. He doesn't win any lanes. Anti-heal will insta-counter him by the time he does come online. His ultimate's cool, but it's not the end of the world as long as you have a support or soul lane eating it. Really questionable. Chalk, B+. He doesn't do anything. We skipped over Serb because Serb is fine. Higher pressure support if you need it to be your soul laner. Cern, fine. Chiron, I think, is borderline A+ because of his Dispel, but we'll leave him in A. Cullen, I'm going to leave him in A, even though I think he could go down. Erlang Shen, we already moved. Ganesh is fine. Hachi's safe, and that's about it, so it's fine. Herc, we moved. Ho Yi, fine, not played too much. Hunbats, with the buff to his 3 and his early clear, we're at least going to move him up to A+. Borderline S tier. Because you're going to have a team fight god. You're going to have one of the top 5 ults in the game, which is like team fight ults, is Hunbat's ult. Throughout an entire game, it's good, from level 5 on. And you're going to have him with early clear. So they changed it so his little monkey, his 3 will bounce to creeps more than once. It won't bounce to gods more than once, but it'll bounce to creeps more than once. Which means it's going to bounce to the mid creep twice at level 1. So it's going to do 160 flat damage without scaling because it hits for 80. So you're going to do 160 flat damage to the mid creep, plus the scaling, plus the auto attack cancel that you get out of using your 3. So your clear is going to be immensely better off of that small change. And that's going to up his early game. It's going to up his clear throughout the whole fucking jungle. You could even level the 3 if you were just trying to farm. You're probably still leveling the 2. But the 3 at level 1 is just going to be even better clear. I think I did a video on the best team fight ults if you want to go look. So we moved up Humbats to 1, at least 1. Like I said, maybe even S tier after this shit. Izanami, I think, is poo-poo, so moving into B+, because he's not safe enough, and he does, like, just farming on Izanami is kind of whatever. You want to play pressure. Once again, I hope people do crazier shit. Fuck you, Shook. Fuck you. Baldy. Fuck you. Kali, I put an A. I wish I put her lower. Kepri, I hate Kepri right now, even though I think he would work. I'll leave him in A just because it makes sense, because you can play dive comps and play him. But overall, I'd want him in B+. Kukulkan, clear, but not safe, so not played a lot. Kazimba, literally all these other gods are just the definition of fucking average up to this raw. Like, most of them don't do anything special. They don't have clear, or they're not safe, or their early game is too shitty to make up for their late game, like, all the way to Scylla. But so you get to Serket, and you have to prioritize Serket. Serket's at least A+ right now. Build hybrid, dive the backline, play aggressive early, high clear, can invade the jungle because you're safe because of your mobility. Do whatever the fuck you want on Serket in this current meta. Just literally go fuck with them the whole game. That's all you gotta do. Let's go through. Soul, I'd move up to A+. I think Soul is super strong right now. High clear in mid, high pressure in either ADC or mid, and you just play around that, play around objectives, you're good to go. Sylvanas, I think, is better, but I'm going to leave him here for now because he hasn't seen too much. I think his heal and the ability to reset in this meta is nasty. So you'll probably see some Sylvanas at some point. I think Terra is still really good, and you can maybe move Terra up to A+ if you wanted to. I think Thanatos is placed way too high and purely based around snowballing. So if you fail at snowballing, you lose the game, which makes him not a solid pick. B+. Ul, good in mid lane or ADC. I like Ul as a mid laner right now, especially in casuals and ranked because you snowball so hard. I borderline would move him up. I'm gonna move him up. I just think in mid lane he punishes too hard, and there's so hard to fucking lose on Ul in mid. And the rest we already moved, so we go down here. I think a Wheelix should be moved up right off the bat. Anubis is fine there. I think Anubis could even go down to B because just dies. That's it. You have pressure on Anubis. Other than that, you die. But a Wheelix I think is really strong. Counterplays to a lot like Bacchus. You have a lot of knockups on team comps between playing Rat, playing fucking. There's a lot of different abilities right now that have knockups. A lot of different gods that are played with leaps, and then the ability to pressure once you get out of like level 3 is there, and be in their jungle and be annoying because you're fast, especially if you have Teleria boots with Suku. Or moving a Wheelix up. We'll look at the rest. I think Kronos is at least A tier, either as a mid or as an ADC. Just punished for the late game. His early game in mid really isn't that bad. He can pressure, he can clear, he can auto attack really hard, can secure buffs from pretty decent range. So Kronos, no problem with that, plus the reset. What else we got? Guan, I think is bad. Fafnir, I think is bad. Isis, I think is bad. Poseidon, I think could be A tier because he does have decent matchups into a lot of the shit that's played. Plus, his clear and mid is fairly safe. Thoth, I wish was higher, but doesn't seem to be. And the rest are good. We get down here. Amma, fuck Amma's shit. Anubis is shit. Aphrodite, we already know is trash. We get to Arachne. Adapting played Arachne and fragged, so I'm instantly moving Arachne up to A+. Argue with me all you want. Arachne's insane again. Adapting played it. Adapting plays it. That means it's the truth. Can't argue with the 2-time world champion. You can fuck off. Rest of the gods are fine. Thor needs a fucking buff. I thought Thor would be better this split, but it just doesn't work. He needs a fucking buff. And Bastet being down here, I don't give a fuck because she's also trash. And there's our tier list. Right there. And like I said, I don't want to fuck with these too much because Fenrir, I think, could maybe be a jungler, could maybe still support just fine, but I'm not sure. Naja, I think we just see fall off because nerfs the damage, instantly make people not play it. And then Jorm, I think, is going to be a top tier solo laner, like S, A+ in there. That's kind of my guesses going into this patch.